And how am I pronouncing it? It's Aiman.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. You're
Amen.
asking me a question about what do I look for on the resume?
Yeah, that's right. What
Okay.
do you look for on an application or a resume that gets submitted to you?
Okay. So what am I looking for on a resume is that firstly, if the client that I'm talking with or working with and they're saying they're looking for someone with 3 to 5 years experience, that's the first thing to look for. Do they have 3 to 5 years of experience? One. Two, who are they working for? Are they working for a competitor? Are they working for a similar industry? So for example, if I'm recruiting for manufacturing, companies, organizations love to hire people that have worked in manufacturing.
Okay, so it
They
has to
like
be from a
to,
similar background.
it makes for an easier transition. So let's say I'm working in manufacturing. I would never send them someone who's worked for a Deloitte or KPMG. It's two different
Okay,
industries.
okay.
Likelihood of success are much higher when if I'm working with a client manufacturing, I send them someone manufacturing. Likelihood of success. Now, that principle doesn't apply all the time, but we've seen historically people that have worked in manufacturing are more likely to have success in a similar industry, right? So that's what I
So
look
would
for.
you say a person should be applying within their own industry for more
Not
success?
necessarily. No, not
Okay,
necessarily. So there are clients that we do work with that say, listen, even though we manufacture chairs, let's just say, if you had someone that worked for a different industry, but had a great personality, was willing to learn, I'm open to seeing those profiles as well too. So every client we work with has a different mindset, they have different biases, they have different beliefs. So
okay.
everyone's different. So if you see a position, I would encourage you to still apply to that position.
Yeah, we do see that, they always say you're still encouraged to apply even if you don't meet all of the requirements. And we want to fill diversity roles and all of those sort of things. So, how important is diversity in the hiring process today? Are companies really looking at, are you a minority? Are you this? Are you that? Because there is a whole section there that they make you fill out for, if you are a diversity hire or if you're a
Yep.
diversity profile. Is
Okay.
that something that is being considered when an application is being looked at, or not necessarily?
Okay. So I have this belief. This is my belief on it. Some organizations do have a diversity program, right? Um, I just want to make
As
other
a recruiter, are you looking at the diversity aspect or not really?
No, I'm not looking. I'm just going to be. I may get my hands off it. I'm not looking for it. I don't care for the diversity. You know what I care for? Is this person good? Can they do the job?
Hmm.
Do they have the experience? I don't care where they're from in the world. I really don't care about gender, skin color. I don't look at any of that. Can the
Okay.
person do the job? And
Okay.
in addition to that, do they have proven experience? Can they do the job? In addition to that, can they clearly communicate that they can do the job?
And how does that communication translate for you on a resume? Is it the way that it's formatted? Is it the
If it's
clarity?
Yeah, so
How
I
does
mean,
how do you come to that decision that this resume is standing out to me?
so if they have a well-written resume, it's the written showcase that's written really well, and they have the
Mhm.
experience, it encourages me to pick up the phone and have a conversation with that candidate. So if it's a
Okay.
good resume, uh, well written, positioned really well, I get
Can you
excited about the.
explain the difference between a good resume and a bad resume?
No, wait, I will answer that question. Hang on. So just getting back to that. So if they have a great resume, I pick up the phone. And if I can't understand a word that they're saying, and oftentimes that's the case, I great resume, they can't effectively. I don't understand what they're saying.
Hmm.
I,
Hmm.
I I don't understand what they're saying. So because of that, I have to move on. So communication skills is critical for your job search because you could be a great candidate, but if the other person on the other side of the phone, the other end of the phone, if they can't understand you,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry, I can't,
yeah,
I don't understand a word you're
100%.
saying. So communication skills
And
is very important. Your next question. Sorry, you're asking about what makes a good
a,
resume?
yeah, difference
Okay.
between a good resume and a bad resume. And I'm just gonna preface by saying because now everybody is saying use Chat GPT, use AI tools to format your
Yep.
resume.
Yep.
It feels a little gimmicky and fake when you start using those
Yes.
AI tools. So
Yes.
what does a good resume look like, and what does a not so great resume look like to you when you're looking at applications?
Okay. When resumes, just think of simplicity. I love simplicity resumes. Okay. Just keep it simple. 2 pages. You don't have to tell me your life story on your resume. The resume is just an appetizer to the main dish. It's just you're just telling me
Right.
a little snapshot of your career. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know that you were a customer service 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My belief. I don't need to know. You're giving me way too much information. So
Okay.
resumes, golden rule, keep it short and simple and clear and get right to the point. Recruiters on average will look at a resume between 6 to 10 seconds before they engage or disengage. So if you give me too much information, if you flood me with too much information, it's information overload. I'm not, I don't need to know that. It's too, you're giving me way too much information. Nice and slow and easy. Give me a little snapshot of your background, your experience, 2 pages, clear and concise. That's it.
And follow-up question to that, does a resume need to be tailored for each position that you apply for? Because again,
Not
that's
necessarily.
something we
Not
honestly
necess-
hear over and over.
No, not necessarily. Well, so what a lot of people do is they have one generic resume.
Hmm.
They have one generic resume, and they have one generic resume, and then sometimes they'll send that resume out, that one generic resume, and then the client or the organization likes it. Okay, listen, I have another resume where I go deeper into my experience and background. Can I share that one with you? So we've seen
Okay.
cases like that as well too.
Oh, really? Yeah, because for example, say if you're currently maybe you're an HR generalist, but you want to apply to HR coordinator, for example.
Yeah.
So then sometimes the advice is, okay, you need to change some of the bullet points on your resume to match the role that you're applying for, to be able to be selected for that role. If you have two different roles that you're applying for, have different copies of your resume to
Yes.
match the descriptions of those roles.
Yes. Yeah.
So is that something that you support?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I mean, people have 5 different copies of their resumes, right? Job seekers are constantly tweaking the resume,
Yeah,
right? This one, I like this one. This doesn't work. Let's take this out. It's a work in progress. You're
yeah,
always sculpting your
yeah.
resume and making it better. You're tweaking it. Okay, let's take this out. Let's remove this. Let's add this. Oh, I like what that person said to me. Let's add this in. It's important to mention this. So it's a work in progress, right? You're always tweaking your resume.
Okay, thank you. And last question, I guess, that I'm going to lead with is, does the time of application matter? So does it matter that you have to apply within 24 hours of a job being posted, or it doesn't really matter? Even if you apply 3 to 4 days in, you're still going to be seen? Because sometimes we hear from recruiters, the earlier you get your application in, the better.
I don't I don't subscribe to that methodology or that idea. No, I don't believe in that at all.
So
I
even if say the deadline date is whatever today, and this has been posted maybe 2 weeks ago, if somebody gets their application in today, it still would be seen.
assuming that the recruiter opens up your resume, yes.
Okay.
Assuming that you click send and assuming that the hiring manager looks at all the resumes, then what does it matter if you're in the first and if you send it within the first 10 minutes
Hmm.
or you send it within the 11th hour, you have to assume that the hiring manager looks at these resumes. So if assuming that they look at all the resumes, it doesn't matter if you send it in the first or the last, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I'm of the opinion that not all resumes are getting looked at.
Yeah, that's what my question is. Are resumes that are submitted, earlier on, they're looked at more likely to be looked at rather than an application that was submitted later?
I'm going to get my hand slapped for this. I may get in trouble for this comment. I don't believe that these resumes are getting looked at.
Okay, the
I
later.
do not believe that if a thousand resumes are submitted, that a thousand resumes are being looked at.
Yeah,
I why? I just don't believe that the recruiter is opening up a thousand resumes. I just don't believe it.
yeah,
Who has
yeah.
the time for that?
So you're thinking they're gonna open up like the first 20 or 30, mostly.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. Like I said, I don't believe that they're all being open. They may look at maybe like the subject line may catch your attention. They're not. Who wants to go through 1,000 resumes? Who has the
Yeah.
time?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, wait a second. I do want to add as well too. If they haven't found what they're looking for, then they're gonna have to. But if they
Sift
open up
through
the first
that.
20 resumes and say, "Oh wow, I've got candidate 18, 7 and 3 are really good. I'm good."
Mm-hmm.
Then they
Mm-hmm.
won't even have to look at the other 1,000 resumes.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter the timing. So they might just be going down the list, and depending on where you are in the list.
Every case is different, right? If they open up the first 20 resumes and they're not what they're looking for, then they have to go to the next 20 or the next 10. But if
Yeah.
the next 10 they find what they're looking for, then they'll say, okay, we've got 4 from the pile. This is good. Let's start interviewing these 4.
Okay.
right?
And last question, I guess, given the
Yep.
job market today, the situation today, if you were
Yep.
an applicant, what would you be doing to ensure success to get the role that you would be looking for?
What would I be doing? What would be my best course of action to find
Yeah,
a
what
role?
would be your best course of action or line of action if you're starting out as an applicant and you're targeting a specific role? What would be the steps you would take?
Okay, as I said earlier, I wouldn't be just doing one thing. I would be doing a series of things. I can't answer that question with saying just do this one thing because
Yeah,
it's not.
so what would be your kind of like
I
series, kind of like your mixed bag of things that you would be looking into?
Okay, perfect. So what I would do is one, as I mentioned earlier on our call, I would be networking. I would be networking as much as I could, building relationships with people, connecting with people on LinkedIn, going to networking events. HR, look at the HRP, go to any of their event, anywhere where you can meet people, have dialogue with people, make eye contact with people, letting them know who you are would be step number one. So networking, being active on platforms like LinkedIn, as I mentioned to you earlier, creating content, like, share, comment daily on LinkedIn, creating videos, letting people see you. There was a candidate that I worked with years ago. She started creating videos of herself and she created content around HR. People see those videos. Oh, she is again. There she is again. You become top of mind. Okay.
Okay.
So networking, creating content, creating videos if you can, if you feel comfortable in front of the camera, networking events, applying to the right jobs. I think another problem that people aren't finding jobs because they're not applying to the right jobs. They're not applying to jobs that meet their qualifications. We're seeing if I post a role with 10 years experience, I'm seeing people with 1 year experience apply to the job. So
Right.
ask yourself, do I meet the qualifications before you click send? Am I applying for the right jobs? Another thing that I can share, work with recruiters, work with staffing firms that specialize in the area that you work in. So if you work in HR, connect with the other recruiters in Toronto that do HR roles. Connect with
Okay.
them. They'll put you in contact with jobs.
Okay.
Be open-minded to another thing that I want to add is be open-minded to temporary and contract positions,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people are not open to temporary and contract. They say, no, I'm only looking for full time and I'm only looking at this area and I'm only looking at this comp range, the salary, this pay band. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think
Okay.
that we should be open-minded when it comes to, especially our first job coming out of school. Be open to temporary contract. Be open to if it's not the pay band you're looking for. Be open to if you live in Toronto, the job's in Burlington. I have to drive. Okay. Be open to if it's a full. This is another thing too. Be open-minded to if it's full days, 5 days in the office. But
Hmm.
people are looking, no, it's got to be hybrid or remote. Well, you're losing out on a great opportunity. But people are set in their ways of what they want. And if they're not open-minded, they're missing out on great opportunities. So be
Yeah.
open-minded.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much, Pino, for having me and doing this conversation with me.
Squeeze one more question in. What else? Is there anything else you want to ask me?
Um, Let me think. Um,
Okay, let me share
well,
something.
just a general question, not
Sure,
related to
sure.
what is
Ask
one activity that you would end your summer with? Just a conversation starter, maybe an
an
icebreaker.
icebreaker.
Yeah.
What would I end my summer with?
Yeah, an activity that you would end the summer with.
Anything that involves personally me, anything that involves my family.
Oh, really? So any
Anything that
like
involves my family.
okay, so you don't have like kind of tradition or anything that, for my family is
Nope.
going to the CNE, we that's our
Ah,
like official end to the summer is if we step foot in the CNE, we know it's
for
the end.
most Torontonians, it's ending at the CNE. I've been to
Yeah.
the CNE once. I'm not a big fan of the CNE, but
Okay.
yeah, but that's a great answer. That's a great
Okay.
answer. Yeah. One thing
Okay.
I will let you know as well too, as we end this conversation. Uh, uh, your LinkedIn profile. Okay, just a final tip and just a bonus tip. Your LinkedIn profile and your resume, make sure that they're matching as well too.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
because yeah, so make sure that your resume, all the information you provide on your resume is aligned with your LinkedIn profile. So do that as well too.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Pino, for having this conversation with me. I really learned a lot from you.
I wish you good luck and just be patient and understand that these things take time.
Mhm.
Finding a great book takes time. Finding a great dentist takes time. Finding a job takes time. Like finding a great partner takes all these things are really important in our lives, take time. So my advice too is well, to don't rush it. Take your time with it. Make sure you find the right job because you don't want to be going from job to job to job, right? That's the last thing that anyone wants, right? So just be patient. Things will happen when they're supposed to happen, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your
You as
Friday
well. Good
and a
luck with
great
your job
weekend.
search, okay?
Bye.
Take care.